Okay. Hi, I'm Jacqueline Dace. I'm the executive director here at St. Louis Artworks in St. Louis, Missouri. And I started here March 29th, 2021. So my process is still relatively new. And as we're talking about onboarding for an executive director, it's been quite interesting and especially interesting since we're coming out of COVID. Our executive director that had been here for 25 years. She retired in August of 2020. So there was a period of time that the institution went without having anybody in the leadership capacity for the institution. We do have a contract team that's been working with the staff. However, the onboarding process was relatively different. Uh, Currently, the staffing of St. Louis Artworks consists of myself, a full-time office manager, a part-time program manager, and an art therapist that is also part-time, and she was hired shortly before I came on staff. Our therapist specifically works with our students and with the apprentices that we hire. So in terms of the actual workload, that workload falls on the shoulders of the executive director, the program manager, and the office manager. COVID, of course, everything that we've come in contact with, we do via Zoom, and I'm pretty much zoomed out. When you're working in a nonprofit organization, there is a lot of personalization that makes a big difference in terms of making contacts. I have not necessarily even met all of my board members aside from meeting them on a um, on on in person. Aside from, I think I met five of them. We had a sale on Saturday, and I was able to meet some of the board members there. So it makes a big difference when you are working with people and you're not being able to do it on a personalized basis. Um, when I came on board, the office manager had a file folder of the insurance documents, everything that I needed to sign, all of the requirements. And that was basically our onboarding, what did what were our hours? What were the programs that we were holding? But there are some other issues that I've discovered and that I'm still discovering. And there's no one here to walk me through, primarily in terms of the history of this place. This institution is 26 years old. So, as you can imagine, there's 26 years worth of programs, there are 26 years worth of fundraising, there are 26 years worth of development that has gone on that needs to be located and found, and there's no real structure. So what I've been doing in one of the areas that I'm most concerned about is putting that foundation in place. Putting a foundation in place so that if um, you know anything happens to me within the next couple of months, I'm not saying that I'm leaving, but we never know. We've just gone through a pandemic. What might happen? That the next person that walks in the door will not have to reinvent the wheel, that they'll have this structure in place. I think when we hear the word onboarding, we hear the word onboarding from a corporate structure, from a for profit structure. And that's a totally different animal than when you're working in a small nonprofit organization. Just trying to find the documents that are necessary to find out what the history is of working within one of our organizations or with someone that has donated to St. Louis Art Works takes takes a couple of hours sometimes. So, you know, it's to me, I'm losing time and losing and exerting a lot of energy in just finding the information, you know. So a process that may should take 5 minutes to work through, and then I can send an email out to discover where we're going to go from here, might take a couple of hours of research time, a few conversations with individuals to find out who that right person is that I need to talk to before I find out this, you know, the process. So when we talk about onboarding for a nonprofit that has had a somewhat of a shaky foundation. Right now, I keep saying that we are on, you know, I walked in and there's like some quicksand, you know. The quicksand is getting a little bit firmer. We're building, I can feel like I can stand on it a little bit better now. I'm understanding it a little bit better now. But I want this quicksand to turn into some real concrete so the next person that come in is standing on some firm ground. And that's what I think is a requirement when you are working in a nonprofit, working in any type of an institution, that you need to leave your legacy for the next person to come on so that it's an easier path and an easier ride. Because when we're developing these programs, my interest is in the apprentices that we're hiring and the information that we can give to them, the education that we can impart upon them, and the experiences in which they can gain from working with St. Louis Artworks. My interest is not necessarily, or shouldn't be, focused primarily on trying to restructure and reformat the institution, because that's where I'm spending too much of my energy and too much of my time. But in the same vein, it's progress. I'm seeing progress. Progress is going from not being able to understand where to find a document in 2 hours, and now I can find it in 45 minutes. Yahoo! We're, you know, that's success. That's success. But you know what I think the important thing that I want to share to people is that you're not alone. You're not alone in this. It may seem as if you are doing this all by yourself, but as I've told my staff members, we have a huge elephant that we have here. And it's important that we understand that if we're going to eat this elephant, we're not going to eat it in one big gulp. We have to take one bite at a time. And that's what we're doing right now. We're taking small bites and we're going to make a big dent out of this elephant. And so I see progress happening. We had a wonderful sale just the last Saturday. We had great energy. Our students, you know, they participated and they learned a lot, and that in itself is what I find is important. So we're moving forward, and St. Louis Artworks is going to be on a firmer foundation by the end of 2021. And if I'm here in 2022, or if another executive director is here, trust and believe it's going to be a different experience.